evening and welcome to the Same Old Arsenal podcast end of season review show. I can't believe it's the end of the season. Anyway, welcome. So the crew tonight, we're missing one bit, I'm sure he'll be here shortly, is me and my podcast brothers. Say good evening, young Christopher.
How you doing? You right?
You just made it by your skin of your apron, didn't you?
Yeah. No dinner for me until I've
I've
got
worn
through the
this top.
Same Old Arsenal podcast.
I've worn this top for you.
Oh,
You
thank
still
you.
hate it, don't you? Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
that's one I shall not be purchasing.
I didn't purchase it; it was given to me by a client, but I still love it.
Made to
Anyway, my other podcast brother from another mother. Good evening, Mr. Cook.
Good evening. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, good. I'm absolutely really good. Looking forward to this show. We do have another guest coming, as I said, but I don't know where he is. He'll be here soon.
And you've not even introduced JJ yet.
Hold on,
Come
I'm
on,
getting.
Aranza. Come on, how
I'm
rude.
saving the best till
This is
last.
a shambles.
Oh, then wait for Albert to get here.
She would rather introduce the person that's not here before she introduces JJ.
Oh
The
my
cheek
God.
of it.
Can I just say, who was here first? You divas turned up with 13 seconds to go. Seriously. I'm ready to introduce the fabulous, my lovely nemesis, Mr. JJ Johnston.
Hello.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I was early, and I've done all my homework as well. So, yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Right. We've got a really, really full pack show tonight because back in August, I did a show with Albert and James. Albert's the one missing. We predicted our top four, Champions League, blah, 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 which we'll get to shortly. And then I did a show a week later with the young Christopher and the young James, and we did our predictions. And because you all laugh at my little book, that's a whole year of podcast shows. I've got all our predictions. Some of them are not very good, but we will get to it. We're going to have to wait for Albert to do it. I'm going to see where Albert is. Is he even messaged? Could someone message Albert, please, and just see if he is coming on? That would be very nice. So, welcome to everyone in the chat room. We've got, as I said, we've got a really big packed show tonight. We are going to do our predictions from last year. We're going to do about 9 or 10 signings of the season, best goals, stuff like that we've been working on. We're going to talk about the game on Sunday and obviously coming second. So, James, I'm assuming, right, JJ, I'll call you tonight. JJ, I'm assuming you weren't in the stadium on Sunday.
No.
Right, okay, so us three were. And I'm just going to say that I felt that the atmosphere, boys, was the best I've ever experienced. I thought North London Forever was the loudest I've ever experienced. It actually made me well up. I thought it was just the most magnificent feeling. I know we were all stressing about what was going to go on at the Etihad. I do appreciate that. I was one of those. Unfortunately, the signal is so bad in the stadium that when they went 1-0, when West Ham got a goal back, we knew straight away because people were WhatsApping us. But then 5 minutes later, half the stadium started to erupt. So we just naturally assumed it went 2-2 because it was such a delay from going the 1 to the 2 that I looked at Cole and I went, this is what goes on. Pockets of fans will hear things and the whole stadium erupts. It's got to be 2. It's got to be 2. But it wasn't. And I couldn't get a signal to get back to anybody to find out. So let's start with you, Chris. We don't need to go through the whole game. Everyone's seen it. But how did you find Sunday generally from start to finish? Beforehand, I loved it. The atmosphere outside was just awesome. Never seen so much red in my life. Oh,
yeah.
hello.
Yellow.
It was fascinating, actually. And I think I commented it a couple of hours beforehand that it was almost as if, like, the whole North London, all along the Seven Sisters Road, it was almost as if there were so many people. Not all of them were going to the game. I'm convinced of it. It was just people out wearing their colours, supporting the team, saying, do you know what? We're proud. And that made me really, really happy. There was just a sea of red all across North London, and it was awesome. I absolutely loved it. Went to a place called the Bedford Tavern beforehand. There were flags up on the walls, there were banners, everyone in red. a few people in that monstrosity that you're wearing, but that's okay. We won't hold that against them. But it was delightful, and every single person had exactly the same mentality, which was, let's just enjoy the day. Let's use this as a celebration of this fantastic team. Let's not dwell on, the north of the northwest and that blue side of Manchester. Let's just enjoy it. Let's appreciate where we are. And you know what? For me, beforehand, I also said, I'm just happy that last season wasn't a flash in the pan, and we've shown that. And so now I have much more faith that we're going to we can kick on. Because the beginning of the season, you talked about it in your book. I thought we were the third best team. I thought it was Man City and Liverpool again. I thought that we would end up being one of those sides that kind of we get close, but not quite enough. I was totally delighted to be proved wrong, and I'm excited for next season now.
Well, that's great, because we will go through the predictions now. Albert's decided to turn up. What is it with all these divas tonight being late? Hello, young Albert. How are you? Welcome to the Same Old Arsenal podcast.
Well, thanks for that fantastic introduction you just gave us as the host. Big up to the chat as well. Yeah, it happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, Albert's here. Albert's in the house. And guess what,
Can I
Albert?
just stop
JJ
it?
was the
Are
first
you
one.
wearing a North Bank cap as well? Is that a North Bank cap?
I am Christopher. I am Chris. Yes.
They are beautiful. I'm getting myself one.
Go it forwards. Go
next
like that,
season.
Albert, so we can have a look.
You want to bow as well, do you?
Yeah, go on. I'll have a look. Oh, very nice.
Oh, let me get that's
Lovely.
right. That's
For
it.
those on audio, Albert's showing me his cap. Right. So we were just talking about the game, Albert. I'm going to go to Cooks next. So, Cooks, did you feel the same? Did you feel like it was a sea of red? Did you feel like it was a party? I think you and I were tweeting beforehand, weren't we? You were like, it's done. I flip-flopped the whole week. I honestly flip-flopped the whole week. When we lost to Villa, I came on here and I said, we will win every game and City will win every game. And I stood by that. And unfortunately, that did happen. But then when Tottenham lost to City and I had the ump the next day, the day after that, I suddenly got this epiphany that this is going to happen. It's going to happen for us. And I started tweeting that we're going to win. And then I went back again and I kept flip-flopping backwards and forwards. But I think deep down, it would have been an absolute miracle, wouldn't it, Kirks, for City to have lost to West Ham?
Yeah, I hate to be that guy, but I was pretty resigned to what was going to happen before the game. City just feel so inevitable. I said to the guy I was sitting next to, it feels like they could, we could win 37 out of 38 games. They would win the 38th. It just feels like when they know they've got to do a job, they get it done. It doesn't matter how many points they finish on. If they've got to beat someone else to get to where they need to get to, City will do it. So, yeah, I was pretty relaxed about the game because I just kind of, I thought we'd win. I thought City would win. That's how it played out. And City just getting those 2 early goals just goes to show, how ruthless they can be when there's something like this on the line. But no, I thought the whole day as a whole was fantastic. I come from East London, so we come from a similar area, Amanda, getting the train up from this part of the world up to North London. I thought it was kind of red from here all the way there. I saw so many Arsenal fans on the train up, walking from Highbury and Islington down Holloway Road. There were so many Arsenal fans packing the pubs. And like Chris says, there were so many people there that just almost certainly didn't have a ticket to the game. But I think whether we won or lost the title, they just wanted to be there, to be part of that day. And yeah, it was great to see so many fans out, so many people in colours. And the atmosphere just walking through the turnstiles in the North Bank Lower just hit you. It was just formidable as soon as I got in there.
I totally agree. So I come from, as we said, your area, but I drive. I get a lift up there. When we hit near Manor House, it was crazy. It was really like busy. And then when we hit Blackstock Road, where the Gunners pub is, where the Woodbine is, where all the pubs are, I videoed it. It was so incredible. And I put it on Twitter and everyone went mad for it. I just videoed it. We actually had to stop in the road to get people out the road so we could drive up on a main road on Blackstock Road because everybody was out. Everybody was whistling. Everyone was, cheering us because they could see we had red on. It was the most wonderful experience. And many a day that I've gone to the cup finals, and that's what it's like. You drive down the North Circular, and everyone's got their scarves out the car, and you get near, and it's red, a sea of red everywhere. So Albert and James, you weren't there, but honestly, trust me, it was, and it was the most beautiful day as well. Beautiful sun. It always helps. Pubs were spilling onto the roads. People were singing. It was just a beautiful, beautiful atmosphere. I think most people had resigned themselves. Albert, did you resign yourself to it, or was there a little bit of hope like me that you thought this could be it? This could be like the icing on the cake. West Ham get a draw and we beat Everton.
No, I didn't have that feeling whatsoever. To be
No one
honest,
for me.
no. City's running. To be honest with you, I said if they were to drop points, it would have been away from home. And I'm going to say this, and people might think it's sour grapes, but I don't really care. But City are a top side anyway, and obviously they've won 4 in a row, and was it 6 out of 7 or 7 out of 8 last Premier Leagues? I can't remember. But some of the way the teams played against them, other than the exception of Brentford when they went to the Etihad and Nottingham Forest at the City ground, they just didn't really bother.
I agree.
And I think I'm being polite by putting "don't bother."
They just gave up. They don't bother, Albert. They take it why that they're going to lose it.
Yeah, and it kind of ties in a little bit with Mr. Rodri's comments yesterday, which I thought was a bit odd, if I'm going to be honest. But that's another thing. But yeah, I didn't have much hope, to be honest, Amanda. Like I said, City, a tough team, and like I said, not many teams that come up against them really gave them a good game, if I'm going to be honest. I mean, the Fulham game, the Brighton game. I mean, what was those performances, man? Seriously. And I know people turn around and say, like, oh, teams haven't got nothing to play for, which I think is rubbish, because if you look at the form of Everton and Crystal Palace towards the back end of the season, they didn't have anything to play for. It was amazing.
Thing is, Albert, I just want to touch on this a second, okay? So for the last, I don't know how long, and it's been going on, and I've had to defend this to the hilt, and I still will. And since Sunday, my City mates, there's only been one that's been decent. And my City Twitter has, for some reason, exploded because I commented on the Rodri. I quote tweeted it. I will say this till I am blue, no pun intended, in the face. When we went to the Etihad, the plan was to catch them on the break. The plan was not to lose. The plan is every time we go there, we get stuffed. We didn't get stuffed. They haven't beaten us this season. However, I am being honestly, and I can show you the hundreds of tweets that I argue in. I've stopped now, and my Facebook and my City mates. They're obsessed with the fact that we bottled it at the Etihad, that we didn't go for it, and that's where we lost the league. Okay, so I answered this again. I'll say it again. You want us to go for it. Every time we go for it, we get stuffed. Yet you praised Villa 4 days later for going for it, and they lost 4-0. They're absolutely obsessed with coming at me. And Liverpool fans are starting to do this as well. If you can't win, do not lose. And that is the attitude we had to take that day. And we were ahead of them. We didn't lose it at the Etihad. We lost it against Villa. That killed it for us because we knew City weren't going to lose a game. I'll argue till I'm blue in the face. I'm so proud of what we did that day. That is nothing to do with bottling it. So, James, I've had my little thing because it's been constant. It's constant. I keep arguing with everybody about this, not Arsenal fans. Just City are constant. And that's what alluded to what you said, Albert, about what Rodri said. We smelt fear. Well, when they came to us, they played like that. They didn't win.
Yeah, I don't get it. They still talk about it now that the season's done. Like, yeah, I just don't understand it, because that's not where Arsenal lost the league. What we did that day when we went to the Etihad is what a lot of the teams didn't do in the running. Against them, they didn't just let them. We didn't let them come and just turn us over. They've done us 12 straight in a row, by the way. City, like, they've got a more than very good record against us. So the fact that it still gets brought up by, like you said, City fans, I find that very, very strange. I've got to be honest.
Albert, if you go and read my tweets, I've stopped. I have stopped. I'm not going to explain myself again about the fact that we went to the Etihad and bottled it. No, we didn't bottle it. We had a game plan and it nearly worked. If Trossard, well, we know what we could have beaten them. It was just unlucky. We did not go there and lay down and die. So, James, I've had my lecture about this. I can't talk about it anymore because honestly, I must have argued it about 100 times. That's my opinion on it. What's your opinion on their thoughts on that and the actual final day?
Well, I believed from the beginning, so I didn't change. I didn't alter on the fact that I thought something could happen here, and Arsenal will end up winning the league. That got crushed within 78 seconds, really, didn't it? As soon as Phil Foden, who's all of a sudden hitting Lucas Podolski-esque left-footed top corner strikes. I don't know where he's unlocked that from, but he's finally discovered that he's got that in his locker. So fair play. And yeah, for me, I was just more focused on let's get our job done, because there was parts of that game where, the finishing wasn't up to scratch. And I was thinking to myself, oh, come on, if we're going to have another one of these moments. And then obviously when it got to 1-0 down, I really started to think, oh, for God's sake, please, if we're not going to win the league, let's at least not get embarrassed on the last day. But we managed to turn it around, albeit the second goal, very fortunate. We'll probably touch on that later, though. I was just glad that we won. I'm the same as everybody else. I'm proud. I agree with what Canterbury Gruner put in your comments, though, in the let's look at us and stop talking about everybody else. I think it's been a couple of days now. They're on the wind up. Do you not think we'd have been on the wind up of everybody if we'd have won it? Of course we would have been. But I think you've got to look inwards and have some accountability for the stuff that we did wrong over the season, instead of keep going, oh yeah, but Spurs could have done that against them. Fulham could have done that against them. This one, log all that off. Tyson Fury at the weekend got smashed, but all he kept saying was, oh, it's only because that country's at war that he won a title. No, have some accountability for yourself. You come in there with a rubbish game plan and you got smashed. We, didn't have a rubbish game plan for the rest of the season, but again, we have lost. So now it's a case of let's see where we went wrong, let's address it, and let's hope again next season that this doesn't happen again. Because I saw a Liverpool team get the 90-plus points, run them very, very close, closer than many have. And then they finished fifth the next year because they ground them into the... That's what Man City do. They smash you into the ground. They just smash you, and then your confidence dwindles. I want to see that confidence still stay at the same level and go better. Even though you look at it, Amanda, and you think, well, what better could we do?
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, but we're going to have to find that, whatever that answer is. I can't give you that answer. I'm not Mikel Arteta. I'm not Edu. I'm not these players. But that is the questions that need to be asked. What are we going to do to get this over the line? Because for me, he's got one more go at it. And if he doesn't win either the trophy with the crown or the trophy with the big ears next year, sorry, he's got to go.
Wow, I did not expect that.
Bridesmaid. Bridesmaid.
No, right. Let me just stop there. First of all, I'm not blaming anybody else. I blamed us for losing to Villa. Second of all, I can't see what you're talking about, to be honest, James. We were near on perfect. It is a little bit.
But it wasn't good enough.
No, it wasn't good enough. But you're saying learn by your mistakes, but we hardly made any mistakes. Those 2 games before Christmas was something that he may need to look at. What happened there? We had so many chances, we didn't take them. You're asking a team to be near on perfect. Liverpool got 97 points and didn't win the league.
Yep.
When you have the money behind what City have and just buy who they want and pay what they want, it is so tough. But I feel you're being a little bit disingenuous to Arsenal, but you're entitled to your opinion, of course, and we will come to that. I think you've just shocked me a little bit, because I mean, if you look at all the players have come out today on social media, every single one of them is down. They're very disappointed. They've thanked us all, but they're down. And when they did that lap of honour, I don't know if it was shown on TV, Cooks and Chris, they looked like they didn't even want to do it because they were so upset, weren't they, Chris?
They were crying on the TV.
Yes. Oh, yeah. You did see it. So,
yeah.
So for me, I mean, Chris, I'm shocked by Jones's comments. So I think you maybe have a chat with, maybe talk about that while I gather my breath, because I'm absolutely in awe of Arsenal this year. And if he doesn't win a trophy next year, I don't want him going anywhere. But that's just my opinion.
Well, sorry. How many more years are we going to go without winning anything then before it's unacceptable? Answer me that. How many? Because that will be year 6 going into
We got
year.
to the
That'll be year 6 going
quarterfinals,
into.
but it takes time. Alex
If
Ferguson.
my auntie had will she be a bike?
No, I'm sorry, I disagree.
It's
I
a
don't want Arteta
results-based
going anywhere.
It's a results-based industry.
Look what's happening at United, who finished 8th, where all of us
and they're
predicted
gonna change.
Well,
they're in a final on Sunday and might win something. Okay, it isn't the big one, but yeah, they're probably, even if he does win it, they're going to change.
Do you think Jurgen Klopp was a failure, only winning 1 Premier League in 7
No,
years?
but he won the European Cup, Amanda.
Okay, we got to the quarterfinal of the Champions League, James.
Yes, okay, on our first try back. Yes,
I'm not going to argue with you.
I'm not saying we're not progressing.
But you want him out if he doesn't win a cup next season?
Yeah, because he's had 7 years.
Right, I'm going to let someone else talk. Chris?
You wanted Wenger to go when we weren't winning stuff all that time.
And that was about 20 years later.
Just because it's Mikel Arteta, it's different?
No, it's because I can see absolute progress. Wenger was running it into the ground.
There's progress.
And I was one of the very last.
It's based on trophies, Amanda. You don't just go every season. Okay, let's be second.
Nor can I, Simon Lester. I can't agree with him either. Right, Christopher.
Mate, I just don't understand how many years you want to keep going without winning.
The others talk. Chris.
This family-friendly show is sponsored by Ruth Beck Art. We are very delighted to have Ruth Beck as our sponsor, and we thoroughly thank her for joining us this season as part of being part of the same old Arsenal family. And families do fight sometimes, but they all love each other. So if you can just give each other a little bit of love in your lives, then that would help. Okay. I'm conscious that we're 21 minutes in and you've got a long list of things that we want to go through, Amanda. So perhaps we should go through those moments during the season rather than relitigate.
No, I'd be interested to see
debates over whether.
Well, it's up to you, Chris. I mean, would you want? Let's just ask the question then. If Arteta doesn't win a trophy next season, do you want him to be replaced?
I think it's very difficult to speak without the element of context. Right now, not a chance in hell. But if we go backwards, then you have to ask questions. And you know what? Arteta is the sort of guy that will ask questions himself. So I don't think we need to pour over the what ifs at this stage because we just don't know. A lot of it it's on such fine margins. We've had last season, not this season just gone, the last season before, we all recognised that Saliba breaking down had a massive impact. Saliba's just gone the whole season playing. If we have the exact same squad or the same squad of availability, perhaps we can even augment that. The likes of, we can debate, and we will debate during the summer. I'm going to do the one in, one out, one bangs series again. I'll get all of you lovely people on. I don't think Amanda wants to do it, but I'll ask her. But we'll come to that another time. I think football is a game of variables. And Cookie, you can join me on this one as well, because my view is there's no point speaking about anything until you know how a season is unfolding, because you can have injuries. We can have long-term injuries to key players that could derail our season, and that's not Arteta's fault, is it? Equally, we could find ourselves up against other, monstrosity of organisations. If Manchester City don't get punished for their 1-1-5, I wonder what Newcastle will do, and then it's out of your hands. You could have this sort of nonsense happening across the league. You've got Chelsea who are just spending $1 billion, and they've just binned off Pochettino as well today. So, Cookie, I'm monologuing now, and we need to kick this on a bit. So, do you want to do a minute or so? Then we'll ask Albert, and then I think we move on to some of the questions that you've got, Amanda, if that's all right.
Oh, God. Well, I'll try very hard to keep it to a minute. I mean, that's a massive can of worms that you've opened there, JJ, that I have to say I really wasn't ready for from you. LL Cool J has turned into LL
bringing the spice.
Yeah, I can respect it. I can definitely respect it. But, I mean, from my point of view, again, like what you say there, Chris, in terms of context, it's impossible. It's an impossible question, because if we go backwards next season, if we get nowhere near as many points as we've got, if we lose games that we shouldn't do, then obviously anyone would be well within their rights to ask the question. But I think the brand of football that we're playing at the minute, I just don't think you can compare it to those trophyless seasons we were having under Arsene Wenger, because we were getting turned over, on a regular basis by our competitors. We had a couple of seasons where we looked like competing, 07, 08. We were well up there, 13, 14, we looked really good at the start. 15, 16, we were well up there and then got pipped by Leicester and ended up finishing even behind Spurs. So I really don't think you can compare it to those seasons. And it's a very real possibility that we could get 91, 92, 93, 94 points next season and still be finishing second. That's just what we're up against. But I think we've just got to be a little bit patient, because it might be a little while before we win the league, the FA Cup, whatever it may be, because City just mopping up all the trophies. They're probably going to beat Man United at the weekend. They're mopping up all the trophies in English football. They should have beaten Real Madrid. They were much better than them in that Champions League semi-final, quarter-final, whatever it was. So I think, it's just what we're up against. If City go through a phase where they're looking to move on Kyle Walker, Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, these guys that are coming to the end of their cycles, and then ultimately if Pep Guardiola leaves, then I think we should pounce, and that's when Arsenal could be the dominant force in English football. But I think we're in such a good place at the minute. We're playing such good football. We've got a group of players that want to play for Mikel Arteta. Like, look at the players we're signing: Rice, Timber, so many more that want to play for Mikel Arteta. I don't know why you'd even want to consider, ripping the heart out of that and starting afresh. And also, who is there? Like, who would you realistically want to get in to replace Mikel Arteta? No, I think we're on such an upward trajectory. It's so hard to win trophies. Like, I'm learning that as each season goes by, especially when you're up against a juggernaut like Manchester City. It's so hard to win trophies, whether it's the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, the league, the Champions League. It's so hard. But I do agree in the sense that I'd love to see us win a trophy. I'd love us to be in that FA Cup final this weekend. I know people poo-poo the FA Cup, but I think that would be a beautiful end to the season. If we'd have finished on 89 points and won the FA Cup, what a season that would have been. That would have been perfect. But Premier League or Champions League next season would be fantastic. But I think we've got to harbour our expectations. But let's recruit well in the summer. Let's go again. But if we finish on more points than we got this season, even if we finish second, there's no way I'm calling for his head.
Fair enough. And Albert, anything to add to that?
I won't spend too long, because obviously you've got a show to do, man, Chris. You know what I mean? But listen, James's view is not uncommon, man. Like, if you just have to see, there's a lot of content out there. There may be similar views, maybe even stronger. But I think with them, I think it's nothing new that I've said, Amanda, already. Like, to get this league title over the line, you have to hit 90+ points, man. There's been a couple of occasions in recent years where City have gone under 90, but that's when they've more or less, to me, really they've already got the league in the bag already. But that's what Arsenal have to do. In terms of moving the manager on and whatever, I think, look, football does go in cycles, whether Arsenal fans want to like it or not. Tough. United, when they won the first Premier League title, they hadn't won a title for 26 years. Liverpool, I think, was 3 decades before they won the COVID title. Arsenal obviously is 20 years and counting. So if you look at it from that point of view, yes, there's many fans up and down the country that will grumble that they haven't got a title over the line, but it happens. We happen to be in an era where, and I hope, to be honest, Amanda, I hope we would win it while Pep's still here, because I don't want to hear any rubbish narratives about, we've got the league title final line because Pep's left the Premier League. That's why I wanted us to get over the line last season. Well, 2 seasons, last season, you know what I mean. But in the last couple of seasons, but I think that's probably the context I would add to it. Just look, we've seen some fantastic managers, or some fantastic football clubs, sorry, not win league titles for a number of years, man. Maybe even before some of our fan base are even alive.
No, I agree, and it'd be lovely. And I am going to move on, but I do appreciate everyone's opinions. Absolutely. But I'm just going to go back over our predictions. So, Albert, out of everybody, you did the best, because you predicted City, Arsenal, Liverpool in that order. None of us did that. I predicted City, Arsenal, so I got that right, but United. James, you did Arsenal, City, Liverpool. Chris, you did City, Liverpool, Arsenal, as we said. And Cool J, you didn't get any of them right. You went Arsenal,
God.
City, Chelsea, United. We all put United in, all of us, roughly.
Excuse
Just
me.
I had them fourth, innit? I think I had them
you,
fourth, yeah.
yeah, fourth, but in the top four. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
The only one that didn't was Cooks. He put Newcastle fourth. But coming to the relegation, I think most of us
Ooh.
all put Luton. Yeah, we all put Luton. You put you had Sheffield United as well, Cool J. So you got that right. I put Luton. Luton, Sheffield United for Chris, and you had Luton Cooks. The only thing we can't decide on is Champions League. I've gone Real Madrid, but obviously we won't know. Cooks, you went Real Madrid. Albert, you said Bayern Munich, and James, you said City. Yeah. Chris, you went Bayern Munich as well. So we've done all right. I mean, a few of us have done the City, and obviously everyone's done City or Arsenal first or second back in August, which is brilliant. And what we'll do back in next August coming up, we'll do our predictions for that season. But it's really interesting to see how it was either City or Arsenal, and we all got that right. There wasn't anyone else. What we got wrong was how poor we thought. We didn't realise United were going to be. There's no way I predicted United were going to go like that this season. Absolutely not. So well done, everyone. And now we'll go to the end of the book, which is where we are. And let's go to the questions. So I will just say this. Okay. If you can just answer with maybe one word and a little bit of explanation, because it would be great to get through. And also, everyone in the chat room, as soon as I say it, if you say your answers, then we'll put them up as well. But Chris is right. We are sponsored by Ruth Beckart, which was very remiss of me at the beginning not to mention. Please go and check her out on her Etsy shop. She has the most amazing, amazing artwork. She's got Father's Day cards. She's got birthday cards. She's got prints. She's a fantastic artist. ruthbeckart.com. Go and check her out. She's been our sponsor all season. Hopefully she'll be back next season as well. Right, number one, James Cooks. Signing of the season. Who's yours?
Declan Rice. Don't think much more needs to be said there.
Okay. LL Cool J?
Same as Cookie. It's I think pretty much answers itself, that question.
I've gone Declan Rice as well. Albert?
Of course, Declan Jollof Rice, man, 100%.
Most people are saying it in the chat room as well. Chris, have you got anything different or not?
Full house, Declan Rice.
And just to let everyone know in the chat room,
I'm just going to add on to that. People talk a lot about the Golden Glove stuff of Raya. I'm telling you right now, Saliba fit, Gabriel fit and form, and Declan Rice. That triangle, that's the reason that we had such a good defence. Because people talk about, one of the questions is save of the season. I was struggling with that because David Raya doesn't make many. He doesn't have to make many saves.
Well,
so yeah,
we're going to get there. We're going to get there. So full house and Declan Rice. Unsung hero, Cooks.
I had quite a few actually written down, but the one I'm going to go with is Jorginho. I thought when he came in, when we had that brilliant winning run, just thought he was instrumental. And if you look at him on the touchline as well, it's like we've got another member of the coaching staff there. I just think he's such a good player to have in and around the team. I think he does so many good things for his Arsenal side, and I'm so pleased that he signed a new contract because I was very, very doubtful about him coming in, but he's, made me eat my words because I think he's been an absolutely fantastic acquisition for us.
Cool J?
David Raya.
Oh, yeah, you've championed him since the beginning, haven't you?
Yes.
I remember that.
Yes.
Albert?
He is the unsung hero for me.
Unsung hero. That's a good one, actually. Go on, Alb.
Leandro the Boss Trossard, mate.
A few of them in 100%. The chat room are saying that as well.
Yeah. For him to have got the goals return he's got this season, and he's not started that a whole host of games. I think including Community Shield, I think he got 17. That's incredible.
Well, no one's gone for my one yet. Chris.
Well, I had Jorginho and I feel like James has been copying my notes because I wrote down coach as well. But just for the interest of being different, how about Jakub Kiwior? Let's just chuck that one in. Came in at an important time, was an absolute rock. Jakub Kiwior, screw it, we'll do that.
I went with what Melissa said. Where's Melissa's comment? Hold on one second. This was mine and no one said it but me and Melissa. Big Gabby. I've gone for Gabriel. That was my unsung hero this season. I thought he was unsung. Right. Cooks, most improved player.
So I'm putting him in there just because I feel like he needed a shout out and I didn't have him anywhere else on my list. But it's Gabriel that I'm carrying on with because although he was exceptional last season and the room for improvement was minimal, he did have those occasional lapses of concentration. And don't get me wrong, he does still have them every now and then, but they're so few and far between. I think I'm very comfortable saying he's a world-class defender. I mean, I know Saliba's got the plaudits this season, but he's been as good, if not better at times than him. So for me, he's just an absolute rock in defence. And when you consider what was going on at the start of the season with the whole Saudi Arabia stuff and how he didn't let that phase him despite being out of the team, and he's come back and not put a foot wrong, and also has got quite a lot of goals, I think he's a great player, and definitely he's just improving season upon season.
Well, I've gone with what everyone's saying in the chat room. I've gone with Havertz. For me, I thought it would be a full house, but I've been wrong. So, LL Cool J?
Yeah, everybody ready? Everyone ready? 60 million down the drain. Kai Havertz scores again. Yeah, Kai.
Has to be my head.
Kai Havertz. What a player. What a turnaround.
Massive
I never saw this player in him, but wow. Kai Havertz.
Albert?
Benjamin White. Incredible.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Even I look at it not just with Arsenal, like when he's at Brighton, he played in the free, comes to Arsenal, centre back pairing, next season moves to right back. And listen, when you've got the likes of someone like Henry Winter saying he's one of the most improved fullbacks in Europe, that tells you a lot. So he's been fantastic, Ben White.
Chris?
I was going to go with just general consensus, but just for the interest of being a little bit different. How about Leandro Trossard? His form in 2024 has been immense. He's bagged goal after goal after goal, and really important goals as well. He's displaced Gabriel Martinelli, which I don't think if you'd have got to like November, December time, any of us could have predicted that. So trust the boss.
Chris, he's our Freddie Ljungberg, man. He's fantastic.
Yeah,
lethal.
I agree with that. Okay, boys. Next one is best Arteta moment. Chris, I'll come to you first.
God, what one?
Have you not got best Arteta moment? Mine's that one. He's down the touchline doing that.
That was last season.
Oh, wasn't it this season?
It was.
That was last season.
Yeah,
Villa
last
away.
year.
Yeah, Commander.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Pick a different one.
I think the interview on TV then, when he was really like, when he was quite obstinate. I loved it when he just spoke to them and said, you know, the most obvious answers. I love it when he does that. I thought that was this season. I must have got that wrong. Albert, what's your favourite best Arteta moment?
Oh, you know what? I think I got the wrong game. It was a home game where I thought it was Rafa Nadal on a touchline the way he was doing the Vamos. It might have been the Brentford home game. I'm sure it was Brentford. I'm sure it was because a late goal, but and also the Newcastle Prescott, because I've never seen him that angry. I've never seen him like that since the time he's been.
That's what I think I was.
And I'm glad. And man, you know what? I know that a lot of the tribalism and all the crap from the rival fans afterwards, but I had nothing but respect for when he came out and said it because it needed to be said. And we've seen the standards refereeing in this country has not got any better.
Oh, let's not go on to that. But that's your best Arteta.
Can I just quickly add to that? What was a real disgrace was that we all now know that Joe Willock was telling all the Arsenal players because they're all mates. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was out, to be honest with you. I mean,
we're going to get to that in a moment because that's one of mine. Best Arteta moment, Chris, and go, Chris.
I did mine.
All right, sorry, Cooks.
My best Arteta moment was him deciding to take the team to Dubai.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's very good, Cooks. I like that one. We all know why. God knows what happens in Dubai. Right, so the most unjust decision.
I'll pick his speech on Sunday because I didn't do mine.
Oh, sorry, did I not come to you? I'm just going to.
Yeah, his speech on Sunday.
I didn't see his speech on Sunday. Oh, what? When he, yeah. Oh, it was fabulous. I love him.
Like I said earlier, I hope he finds the answers, because there's not a manager we've had that I want to win something more with than him, and he knows, because he's been at City, so he knows. So that's why I want it so much. But yeah, it was brilliant, but inspirational.
I love him. And I liked Odegaard's as well. Right, most unjust decision for or against. I'm just going to go for the against because you just touched on it about the Newcastle. I'm still angry. I went on the radio angry. I argued with a Newcastle fan angry. I still talk about it. I still show that picture of someone on Gabriel's back that they got that goal from that. So for me, Newcastle away. Cooks, I'll come to you.
Yep, exact same for me. Ball being out of play, and then the one you definitely can't dispute is Joel Linton pushing Gabriel to the ground.
Oh, you just can't.
Come on, that was a joke.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it in my order so I don't miss anyone out. JJ?
Yeah, I've gone for Newcastle away in terms of unjust, obviously that goal, and one that we got for. I've put Havertz's goal versus Everton at the weekend / Havertz against Newcastle, because he should have been sent off. He absolutely went through Longstaff. Because he was in a bad mood, weren't he? All of them were in a mood, and he thought, screw it, I'm going to 2-foot him. And yeah, we got away with that one.
Right, Albert?
Oh, this one's easy for me. Villa away. Havertz scores the last-minute goal, and the referee guesses that it was a foul or handball, shall I say. That was a terrible decision. And you know what? You look at it now with the way the season's ended, that point at Villa Park could have been crucial.
Right.
And it's guess what?
And I think one of them is what Melissa just said as well, when Jorginho got punched by, was it Bruno, wasn't it? I mean, I can't even, it's one of the worst games. Cooks?
You've done me.
Oh, I must have gone around the wrong way. Chris?
So you picked 2 out of the 3 that I picked. So I picked the third one. How about Tomiyasu getting a yellow card for holding onto the ball for 17 seconds and then getting sent off by Ayew against Palace? And we've never seen that since. In fact, at the weekend, I'm pretty sure that Ashley Young was holding onto the ball for about a minute each time when he took the throw-in. So funny how it's one rule for one and one rule for the other, particularly when it's beginning of the season versus end of the season.
Absolutely.
That's a good shout, man, to that one in the chat. I forgot that one, the Jesus, Douglas Luiz on Jesus.
Let me have a look. I'll put it on. Villa away saw Douglas Luiz coming through the back of Jesus' car for nothing. Should have had a pen. Yep. Oh, there's so many. We could go through a whole show on the unjust
one more in as
VAR
well.
decision.
Kovacic already on a yellow, basically scything down Odegaard. It was almost a borderline red in itself, but the fact that Michael Oliver gave nothing was disgracia.
Yeah.
Well, as Phil Macker says, fans hate us, refs hate us. We have to get on with it. Although people think we get VAR decisions, bizarre. Right.
You said that.
Most rival fans say that Arsenal get the decisions that the league they wanted Arsenal to win the league. I honestly,
we're the second most affected club since VAR has been invented for points that we've lost due to incorrect VAR decisions.
Yeah,
Wolves obviously at the top. That's why they want it gone. We're second next to Wolves. So anyone who says that, and it's funny, isn't it, that the 2 clubs that have refs that referee in countries that are owned by those 2 clubs, and ironically, clubs in the Northwest have the most points for VAR decisions that are incorrect. Yeah, isn't that funny?
It is not funny, but funny. Cooks, best save or saves?
I'm going to be a little bit controversial here and go for Aaron Ramsdale's against Ivan Toney when we beat Brentford 2-1. I thought that save when he was backpedaling, given that he was coming in cold as well, world class. So, yeah, Ramsdale against Brentford.
You've really picked him out tonight. I've sat and I thought, God, everything you've said. It's like, Jorginho I never even thought of. That save, definitely. Honestly, yeah. I went for Raya's saves against Porto in the penalties. For me, that was magnificent, those saves. So that's why I did save with a bracket of S. LL Cool J?
Yeah, David Raya versus Brennan Johnson against Tottenham at home. Fantastic save.
Oh, yeah.
That was brilliant, because all these people that called me Dan Potts and Lee Gunner earlier are the same people that, because it's not jolly old English Aaron Ramsdale, because it's a foreigner, and it's David Raya. Oh, I hate him. I don't like him. Well, he's a better goalkeeper. He's better on every metric. Yeah, that's why.
Anyway,
Telling me I don't love Arsenal. I love Arsenal, the team, not just players.
I
all
think
right?
you need
David
to
Raya.
calm down. It's
David
an
Raya.
end of season nice show, Mr.
He doesn't. Can I just point out he doesn't win on the B in English metric though. You got to admit that.
No, he doesn't. No, that's very true. Yeah, you got a point there.
Albert saves.
Oh, James stole my thunder. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah, because I see some people trying to say, "Oh, it was a standard save." I said, "Are you crazy? It wasn't a standard save. I was at the game. I was behind the save." I said, "That was an outstanding save." But I think we conceded after that, didn't we, James? I think we did not too long afterwards.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It was a
we did.
save at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah. But yeah, that was a brilliant save, man. That was a brilliant save.
If we were going for the worst one, it would have to be his throw out to the Tottenham goal. Don't even start me on that. No,
surely
let's
not Ramsdale's kick out against Brentford as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
had a very mixed game that day.
have I done you, Chris, or not yet? I don't know.
No, but it was
Lost
the Tottenham
count.
one. It was Brennan Johnson. So
yeah, brilliant.
Coolio. Right, let's do the best and the hardest moment of the season, Cooks.
The best moment of the season? Is this the one where we're talking about the best game?
No, it's just best moment.
Best moment.
Do you want me to come back
Can
to
you?
you?
Yeah, come back to me on that one. I need a bit of time.
Okay, so I'll do my best moment of the season was when the whistle went against Tottenham after those 9 minutes of the worst 9 minutes I've ever experienced watching a football match, probably worse than I can remember for years. I think that I literally was looking at the ceiling trying to deep breathe for those 9 minutes because I was convinced they were going to get a draw. So that was the hardest moment. Best moment of the season, it's tough, that one, because there's been so many magnificent games and goals. So I'm just going to literally say the best was the whole season for me. I know it's a cop out, but I've just loved.
Oh, man, you
from
can't
start
do
to
that. You
finish.
can't do that,
No,
man.
but I've loved from start to finish. And I mean, my favourite goal is another moment, but we'll talk about that in a moment. So,
man, we have to bring you into disrepute. You can't answer that question like that. Come on.
we'll go to VAR. We'll let them decide for the next 10 minutes, and then we won't be there anyway. LL Cool J, what's your best and your hardest moment?
Hardest is going to be losing to Villa, because I think even though I was ultra positive all the way through, I'm like you. I think that was when you could really go, yeah, I think that's it now, because they're not going to lose a game probably now. So yeah, definitely Aston Villa. And then the best, now correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be getting this jumbled up here myself. Was West Ham the first of the, we're clearing out the grounds, who put the ball in the net? Was that the beginning of all the away sort of, where it was like, you're getting 5, you're getting 6? Was that the beginning? Was the West Ham away the start of it, and then it carried on from there?
I
or was
thought
it
Crystal
already...
Palace was the 5 or 6.
Yeah, it was home.
That was at home. That was at home, wasn't it? Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
What, emptying stadiums wherever we go?
Exactly. Was that the beginning? Was that West?
Right.
Was West Ham
apparently,
the first
yes.
time? Yeah.
They're saying in the chat room it was.
Yeah, definitely that West Ham away. Then, yeah, that's got to be, because we just started to smoke people after that for fun, and it was great.
Oh, brilliant, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You were wondering who was going to score.
After
Burnley
the team
5-0
scored.
after that. Sheffield United 6-0. Newcastle 4-1. Yeah.
Best and hardest moment of the season, young Albert.
Best moment beating City at home. For a number of different reasons. Our record against them is wretched. Being at that game, it was nip and tuck. It really, really was. I thought it was a proper game of football, and to win that was huge, and we did. And then you get the narrative police come out after saying, it wasn't one for the purists and Rodri wasn't playing. And I'm thinking, Man City, do you think Man City fans would have turned around and said, we can't enjoy that win because Bukayo Saka wasn't playing? They would have said they don't give a toss. And I couldn't care less if Rodri or they brought back flipping Franny Lee from the, rest in peace, Franny Lee. It doesn't matter. That was a huge, huge statement win, man. Hardest moment, losing your in Timber. Key signing. Shame. It's amazing it plays first game of the season. Features the last game of the season. But yeah, he was a big miss. And hopefully it will show why going into next season why it was a big miss last season.
Just want to say a big hello. There's over 600 of you watching us, and I'm hoping that you're enjoying the show. And if you are, please press like, please press subscribe, because we are going all through the summer like we did last season with many different shows coming up, which we'll explain at the end. And please, has everyone pressed like? Put your hands up if you have. Right. Cook's worst match of 23-24 season.
Do you know what I mean to do my best worst? I'd thought about it.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And me.
This is the host.
And me.
This is shocking.
Because I went that way and then I forgot you wanted to do your right.
I have rattled you from early and you've not recovered, have you? You've really, the whole Arteta thing has stumbled you so much.
Hello, Leslie. I'm just going to talk to the viewers because you lot are driving me mad. Right, go on. What's the best and worst, hardest moment for you, Cooks? And then I'll go to Chris.
Okay, I'll be quick. Best moment for me, Rice's goal against Man United. That was just after Garnacho he'd thought he'd put United in the lead to then go up the other end, Rice to put that in the net early in his Arsenal career as well. Fantastic. Completely set the tone for what was to come from him. Worst moment, I think not a lot of people will have gone for this, but Porto away, I just thought we were really drab, just really not an enjoyable watch. Could say the same for the Bayern Munich game away from home as well. I thought we could have done a lot better in Europe. So, yeah, for me, Porto away, worst moment.
Okay.
Almost boring, maybe.
Mine,
Christoph.
And my best moment was the feeling when that third goal went in against Tottenham. Because we don't win away at Tottenham very often. So when that went 3-0, my wife came into the lounge and she went, "Have you shouted 3 times?" And I went, "We're fucking winning 3-0. This is amazing." So yeah, that was a great feeling. The worst or the hardest moment or the worst moment was probably, I mean, the correct answer is Villa, because as amazing as that was, it was a gut punch of Villa. But I would probably, just out of the interest of picking something different, that moment when Saka was taken out by the Bayern Munich aged goalkeeper, Neuer, in the last few seconds, and everyone in the world knows that's a penalty. And we had some absolute muppets going on TV and stuff saying, "Oh yeah, no, he's left his leg out there." It's like, it's not his responsibility. It's not Saka's responsibility to get out of the way of Manuel Neuer. That was a penalty. That goes to 2-1 Arsenal, and I think we would be in the Champions League. I think we'd be in the final right now.
Okay. It's funny when you rake up all these moments and you remember what we've been through this season. Right, we're going to go to the worst match. I'll start with you, Cooks. You're on mute.
He's muted himself.
I muted myself. God, you say I'm having a nightmare? Are you sure? Yeah, Fulham away. Shocking. Absolute worst game I've seen. That was reminiscent of 2017-18 Arsene Wenger. It was that bad. We just didn't look like scoring. Dreadful on set pieces. Yeah, I don't know what happened to us that day.
Jay?
Yeah, same as Cookie. Fulham away. That's arguably the worst I think we've played for a very, very long time.
Albert?
I'm gonna be cheeky. So that one they just mentioned, yeah, definitely. I did a watch long for that. It was dreadful. But yeah, Villa, that was a kick in the goalies, man, at home, man. Particularly with obviously Liverpool losing at Palace that day. Yeah, that was a kick. That was a killer, man. It was.
Chris?
I mean, it's Fulham. It's Fulham at Fulham away. I was in a lovely hotel in the New Forest with lots of friends, and none of them are football fans. And I told them all, "I'm sorry, you're just going to have to go. I'm going to have to go upstairs and watch this game." And I had expectations, and much like you guys have said, the response that we got, it was so uncharacteristically Arsenal of the last 2 seasons. That's what it made it worse. And on New Year's bloody Eve as well.
Well, I got over that, and for me, it was Villa last month. I was
that was a killer. Yeah,
I was so angry when I left the Emirates because I just said that we'll win every game, and so will they, and that's it. I just bloody knew it, and we didn't turn up, and I thought the second half they were going to come out and go for them, and they got worse.
He was worse.
And Villa are a really good side, and it's really upsetting that Villa's got Emery. Hear me out why, because Emery always wants to beat us, and Villa have. they're beatable, Villa, especially at our place. And it was so frustrating. No one turned up that day. And for me, that's where the title got lost. I know the 2 games before New Year were killers as well, but we'd got over that. We'd passed that. We were top of the league way after that. But Villa, Jesus, drove me mad. Right, on a positive note, Cooks, your best match of the season.
Chelsea 5-0. I know there's probably quite a few to pick from, but I think that game, for me, we were just perfect. Chelsea didn't have a sniff. We were absolutely ruthless, and I just thought it was really telling of where the two teams are. I mean, I think we've owed Chelsea one like that for a good long while, and I just loved the fact that Havertz got 2 goals. We just looked so dominant, and it was just so easy. Out of all those games where we won 3, 4, 5, 6-0, that, maybe not the most significant, but for me, it was definitely the most enjoyable to watch.
Jay?
Yeah, I agree with the chat. I hate Scousers, so yeah, 3-1 against Liverpool. Fantastic.
You're like Cole, you are.
I can't abide them. So yeah,
I know you can't. Albert?
Yeah, I'm gonna go different. I'm not gonna go different. It's I actually picked the Brentford game because I think City did play. I'm sure City played before us, and that was a big win. And not only that, Kai Havertz scoring the winner, because I think he scored 4 in 4 going, including that game, and that was a massive momentum. There's a really good game of football, but yeah, that was a big momentum, sort of continuous momentum, winning that game. That was a big win, man. So that was a good win. Enjoyed that.
Anything different to offer, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to go Brighton at home, because I think that was the
Sure.
Arteta archetypal perfect football match. Dominate from start to finish. Don't give them a sniff. I don't even think they had a shot, even off target in the first half. Scored 1 in the first. I think we scored 1 in the first and 1 in the second half. It was like the most perfect Arteta game. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one, because it felt like his plan coming to fruition.
So I was really torn with Chelsea, but I think what pips it for me is City at home, just to beat them. I don't care who was playing for City that day, just to beat Man City. I loved that game, absolutely loved it. And I think it probably means even more because of my close friends who are City mates. So I think that for me it was that, but Chelsea was very, very close. And also what I love Man United as well. There's so many. We've had such a great season, so there was lots to choose from. Cooks, player of the season for you.
Martin Odegaard. I know he didn't get as many goal contributions as he did last year, but the way he's led the team, his defensive work, his pressing, honestly, I'm just not really looking at his goals or assists at the minute, because I just know what he's doing for the good of the team. He's that guy that, plays the killer pass before the assist. He's just the epitome of an Arsenal player, and I think we're so fortunate to have him. And just like so many other players in this team, Saliba, Gabriel, so many others, Bukayo Saka, he's just getting better and better. So yeah, incredibly grateful to have a player of his ability at our club. He's fantastic.
Jay?
yeah, same as Cookie, Martin Odegaard. What was it? We had 49 games last year, and he was the best then. We had 52 this year, best again. Yeah, Martin Odegaard. And he's a brilliant captain as well. That armband got tossed around like it was a raffle prize for a long time. And this guy's come in here and, yeah, he's superb. I mean, when you've got Declan Rice there that you've seen be a captain elsewhere and lead them to things that they've never, and probably never will achieve again. And yet this guy, he respects that guy having the armband instead. It goes to show just how good of a captain he is. And like you said earlier, Amanda, his speech was bloody brilliant at the weekend as well.
And you're right about the captain thing. We feel very settled with him, don't we? And it wasn't, and it hasn't been settled for many years. Albert, anything different? Anyone different?
Oh,
You can
I
choose
think
the
it's too
same.
obvious. Yeah, I think it's tough. It's between Odegaard and Rice. I've obviously got a lot of bias towards Declan. But no, I'd give it to Odegaard, man. Even I think was it 22 goal contributions this season. That's not bad. I think with him, and I said this probably 2 seasons ago now, he doesn't get enough credit for what he does off the ball, and that's even more evident the season just gone. He's been exceptional, and his ability to pick a pass in that final third was insane. I could think of a number of games this season where he's the way he sees a pass and executes it. Because you can see a pass, but it's the way you got to execute as well. It's been exceptional. So I'd just shade it to him.
Chris?
Well, I'm going to, because I love Odegaard, but I'm going to pick the fairly obvious one that I'm really surprised nobody has said. 20 goals, 14 assists in 47 matches, 34 goal contributions. Bukayo Saka. If we think about the evolution of this kid, every year he's improved on his numbers. So if we look at last season, which we all thought he was brilliant, he got 26 goal and assist in 48 games. He's played one game less this season, and he's contributed 8 times more. And we had the beginning of the season where people were saying he's not in form. This kid is mustard, and I'm glad we got him tied down.
Well, I'm different to all of you. I'm shocked that no one's gone with Declan Rice. For me, he's absolutely player of the season. I mean, how many times we have like Declan Rice loving every show? I'm shocked. I actually think Declan Rice, by far the best player of the season. I mean, I love Odegaard as well, but for me, it's Declan Rice. We're on our last question now. So, people in the chat room, we're going to mark it out of 10 for our season. So, let us know what you think. Cooks, out of 10, and your reason why.
I'm going to give us an 8, which I think is fair. For me, there's so many reasons why this could be a higher season. I've not seen Arsenal play this well in so long, and the fact we've improved on what already felt like a brilliant campaign last season, and the fact that we've done so much in what feels like so little time as well. When you look at the team he inherited, and where we had that unprecedented title challenge last year, and we've managed to stay here again, improve on our numbers. I would love us to have a trophy at the end of the season. That's the only thing that would score it higher for me. I've not got a problem with finishing second. I'd love us to finish first, but I'm realistic about who we're up against. If we finish second and won the FA Cup, for me, that would be a dream season. That would have been fantastic. But yeah, for where we are now, it's an 8, but there's no reason why next season can't be a lot
higher. Jay?
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I've gone with an 8. I think we achieved what was basically the bare minimum that all of us would have accepted, and we excelled on it. Most points, most clean sheets, most goals that we've ever scored. Just again, same as Cookie, just sad you couldn't end up with anything else. There was a lot of people that said, oh, with the Champions League as well, they'll fall off. That never happened. Saka won't play well in the Champions League. He's all right in the Prem, but wait till he comes up against Europe. He was the top scorer in the thing for, the group stage. Yeah. So, no, an 8 for me. So nice, solid 8. But there's always room for improvement, which will happen.
Well, it's lovely in the chat room because no one's gone below 8, which is lovely to see. So, Albert, what's yours?
Well, Amanda, let me tell you. So we finished where I thought we'd finish second. 8 out of 10, definitely. I think that is spot on. What I want to see a little bit more better is our domestic cup competition runs. Because your Cities, your Liverpools, your Chelseas over a number of years have taken that competition seriously. And that's the only thing really for me. It's just the domestic cups. But listen, we're on the right trajectory. It's just making that step from it being progressive to it being successful, and get the players a winning mentality. So yeah, 8 out of 10.
Chris?
Yeah, full house. I think for me, exactly what you've just said. If we beat Liverpool at home at the Emirates in the FA Cup, I think we are talking about, we're sad that we didn't win the league, but we've got the FA Cup. I think we would have gone all the way to the final to go up against Man City because we're the second best team. I think we're arguably one of the top 3 teams in Europe. But the reason it's an 8 as well is because of the Munich stuff as well. There's a bit of psychological barrier that we didn't manage to overcome away there because I thought we could get something there. And then you've got Villa and Fulham away. So a good 8, a solid 8, very happy with our season, but a little bit, as James said, as Cool J said, more room to improve.
So I've gone a little bit higher than all of you. I've gone 8.5. And I actually was nearly 9, but I came back down to 8.5 because I think 89 points going further in the Champions League. I know the cup competitions, but what I've seen this season, I think it deserves an 8.5. But as I said, no one in this chat room's gone below 8. So that is fantastic to see as well. Right, well, they're all our questions, and I mean, I think we're just gonna sum up the season in a sentence or two. So I'll start with you, Cooks, and then we'll announce our shows coming up, and then we'll let everyone go. So sum it up how you felt about 23-24.
God, I feel like I've got to give some rousing speech on par with Odegaard and Arteta.
No.
No, I'm very happy with how the season's gone. I mean, did I think we'd win the league? Well, judging on the predictions, yes, I did. But I mean, that was probably more optimism than anything else. But look, we're up against one of the greatest ever teams to have graced English football. I say graced. We all know what's going on behind the scenes, but I think we're in such a good position to mount a serious, continued title challenge against this City side. And I think we're in such a healthy position to do it as well. When you look at the disarray that a team like Chelsea are in, sacking Pochettino, you look at Liverpool, who are going to be going through transition with Arne Slot coming in. Who knows what's going to happen there? Who knows what's going to happen with Spurs? Honestly, next season it could just be a two-horse race from quite early on. We all know that nothing's a foregone conclusion in football, but in terms of looking back at this season, yeah, really happy with how it's gone. Arsenal have given me some fantastic moments to have got 4 points off City, 4 points off Liverpool. It's just those little blips where I think we've got to turn them into either draws or wins next season. But it's football. This team is still evolving. It's still incredibly young as well. Like, let's not forget that they're allowed a few slips on the road. But yeah, let's make sure the next season we're the ones with red ribbons on the trophy.
Nice. James?
Yeah, just grateful. Very, very grateful. Yeah, we didn't get to the promised land, but like I said, record points, record goals, record clean sheets. There's a lot more going well than there is going bad, and it's just sorting out those little niggles. I trust Mikel to do it. I trust Edu to do it. So let's wait and see. And will I enjoy the Euros? Probably not. But I'm just happy and waiting for those games in America to come.
You will,
I won't, Albert. I won't. I'll enjoy it because my dad's Scottish and it's something to take the mickey out of him for, isn't it? So that's always worth. But in terms of watching England, no way. You see that provisional squad today, Albert? You're telling me to get excited by that?
The tournament, not
anyway,
England.
Can you talk? We're going to discuss. We'll do
at least there's A's in there, eh?
Euro shows, Albert. Any rousing speech from you?
We've got a rousing speech, Amanda. Listen, it's been an enjoyable season, man. I would have loved to seen us get over the line and win this league title. I'll be honest, Amanda. Like, I wasn't sure how it would go with Arsenal this season. Off the back of last season, not because listening to some of the drivel from people talking about, that's their best chance, and that obviously has not been the case because of what we've done in terms of incremental improvements. And we go again. It's we know what we need to do to get this league title over the line. The squad have had another year of progression. I'll be looking very, very closely to see what we do, moving players on out of the club and what money we bring into the club, because that's the one thing Edu and the hierarchy have to do better, because we're behind the 8 ball in regards to other teams doing that.
Okay. Chris?
Albert stole my thunder a little bit. This is why it sucks to go last. We go again. 3 words. We go again. We can go again. We will go again. This team is consistent enough. We go again.
That was my on here. We go again. You've nicked mine. I'm going last now. So for me, I think I'm a little bit more positive, and I've had a magnificent season. I've loved it. The highs were way outweighed the lows. The Tottenham game, I'm so upset about what we did. Didn't take it to them in the end, and those 2 mistakes, Rice, the pen, and stuff like that. But generally, I've loved it. Absolutely loved it, and I think we will go again next season. I think we'll win it, but obviously we will. I didn't predict them to win it this season. I will predict them to win it next season. I think Declan Rice has changed the trajectory in our midfield. Be interesting to see, as Albert said, like who's coming, who's going. It's going to be an interesting summer. I might actually partake in a transfer show because I hate them. I hate talking about transfers. If they've signed, I'll partake. But it's just been an amazing season. I've loved it. I've really enjoyed the atmosphere, the Emirates. I've thought I've loved, and I know James Cool J hates it, but I love North London forever. I think it brings us together, and I just have really enjoyed this season. You know that it, what comes next season, I think, could be even more exciting, and hopefully we'll all be giving it 9.5 and 10s this time next year. So, from everybody in the chat room, thank you so much for joining us since the beginning of the season last year. I mean, we weren't all through the summer. That's really, really nice of you, John Rose, saying that. 10 out of 10 this podcast. As I said, me, Chris, and Cooks will all be doing joint shows, separate shows all through the summer. So you need to subscribe, otherwise you're going to miss us. There's lots of football going on. There'll be lots of transfer chat. Chris wants to do his one in, one out, one bangs, which was a great series last year. Cooks is going to do some shows when he can, and I'm going to do some shows, get some guests on. Absolutely, we will. We'd like to thank you on behalf of the Same Old Arsenal podcast for just being with us. The Arsenal community that follow this show is just wonderful. All your tweets, your YouTube comments, whether you've agreed with us or not, we love you all, and we love that we're interactive with you too. So I'd also love to thank Albert James, who are regularly with us. You're like our little podcast brothers as well. We love the fact that you have different opinions. We love the fact that you are, how can I put it? Wonderful guests. That's all I'm going to say. You are just
I think
wonderful
that's the
guests.
nicest thing you've ever said to me, Amanda. I'm
You know I
quite
love
touched
you.
here. Quite touched, you know.
We love you, and we thank you for coming on and giving us your time as well, because you know whenever we call on you, you generally come on, unless it's against the Scousers, and James says unless we beat him, I'm not coming on. That's a genuine
That's
question.
very true.
That is very true, and I never lie about anything. Chris and Cooks, before I finish the show, have you got anything you want to say?
Nope, just looking forward to summer and not giving monkeys about the European Championships. So, like James.
That's the spirit. I think thank you to everyone that's tuned in throughout the season. Thank you to Albert and JJ for everything you brought to the channel as well. And yeah, hopefully on to bigger and better things next campaign.
Absolutely. We signed anyone yet?
Who we signing? Who we
signed anyone yet? Who we signed? Come on.
Chris, just to say, we've got the Copa America and the Olympics, if that interests you as well.
There's so much going on, isn't there? There's so much sport this summer as well. But again, thanks to Ruth Beckhart for sponsoring us all season. While Chris wants to go off and have his dinner, I'm going to end the show. Big thank you, especially to everyone that tweets me and Facebooks and Instagram. I love it all. I've not read any of the City tweets the last few days, and I can hold my hands up and say there's quite a few. I don't care, because as always, it's always Arsenal, and that's all that matters. Good night, everyone. Enjoy your summer.